Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Wendy.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
How has your year been?
So far, I would say it's ending up well. Although it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. I think it was needful. The year was one year that whatever has happened was a wake-up call to many things. So I'm grateful, to be honest. You know, at times these challenges that we go through in a year are not things that we can clap our hands and say, hey, it was, you know, wonderful. No, but they are the kind of things that really bring transformation. So that's a part about this year that I admire, I like.
You like?
Yes, and it has taken our business into a different direction. We've never been as productive as we've been in, I don't know in how many years.
Really?
Oh yes.
Today I'd like us to do a Christmas edition.
Okay.
And I'd like us to talk about lead generation.
Okay.
So our work is heavily dependent on leads.
Yes.
And a huge amount of your time is spent generating leads or servicing leads.
Yes.
Looking for new leads or servicing current leads or keeping in touch with past leads.
True.
So I would love us to learn from you today, which I'm very curious to learn because it's a challenge I've faced personally this year.
Yeah.
How do we get from lead generation to lead conversion?
Conversion. Okay.
That road in between, when you've generated the leads, what happens in between here so that we convert as many leads as possible into clients who are satisfied? We close them and they're satisfied. What does the journey in between here look like?
Yes.
What are the mistakes we make in the middle here, and how can we improve to make that journey better and smoother?
As we are discussing focusing on someone who's already generated enough leads, but now probably the challenge is the conversion, right?
The conversion, yeah.
The most important thing to understand is for you to convert a lead, they have to be qualified. When they qualify, they become what you call a prospect. And a prospect is someone who whatever they're looking for is in your target market, and then they have the money to buy the property or to rent the property, and they're decision makers. So
does that mean, on that point, does that mean if I cover, let's say if I cover Runda,
yes,
and I have a current inquiry, it's not a prospect?
Yes, it's not.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it's not a prospect. You struggle to rent or to sell that property in Karen as compared to the Runda, which is what you're used to. So unless you have grown...
So that a lot of people go wrong at that point.
Yes.
Servicing people who are not in their area.
Yes. So you've said it very well. One way to increase your lead conversion is to focus on your target, on your market. Neighborhood. Focus on your neighborhood. That's one way.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do we say to the people who are not in our neighborhoods?
So that's why you need a team to work with. When you team up, you perform better because you will not struggle to handle things that are out of your way. Just picture with me this. If your average showings are 3 a day, and each showing takes an hour, plus if the showing, let's say you have 3 showings a day, and those are 3 different clients, I think that will take a whole day.
Yeah, easily.
Basically, if you are showing them more than 3-4 properties easily. So it's not possible to have 3 showings a day. But can you imagine?
And it's not sustainable.
It's
You'll
not
be
sustainable.
so tired.
But can you imagine if those showings were happening in one street? That all these clients want something within that one street.
Or in one building.
Or in one building.
Even better.
Yeah. So if they're happening, you have 10 listings on a street, you need to show them. It's possible for them to happen in a day. Yeah, it will be possible. But can you imagine if that one client was in, let's say,
Karen.
Westlands, Karen, Runda, Kitambo, you cross over and show them properties on those sides, it might be quite a challenge. So there is
So poor time management also contributes to lack of conversion.
Yes.
That you waste a lot of time,
Yes.
hence reduce your chances of closing.
Definitely yes. Because I can imagine right now the roads are being constructed. Today took me some time to get here because I'd forgotten about the road construction. That there's a bit of traffic. So you can imagine the commute from one location to the other and back. Those are 2 hours gone, or about
travel time.
More than 10%, about 20% of your time in a day. Over 20% is not efficient just on the road. You need to be brave enough, because some clients you may just have to tell them, I appreciate your business. This area, I don't have someone to refer you to, and I'm not an expert in this area. So you've communicated 2 things. I'm an expert in a different area. I know and they'll appreciate that, and they'll know you're more focused. So they'll give you more business because of that focus. But at the same time, they might go disappointed, but agents think that if you say no to the client, then you have not valued them. But
that's how I always feel personally.
Yeah. But that's not the case.
It's not the case?
It's not the case. So you need to learn some scripts, like what to tell them, so that you can convert them for the future. Now, we're talking about conversion today. You need to let them know, I truly, truly want your business. Would you refer to me clients in the area of Westlands, Riverside in the future? Don't let
that's my area.
Yes, don't let the conversation just end and say, if it's okay with you, can I stay in touch? Just to see how everything went. So that's another way to ensure that you've converted them and you continue, and you've added them into your database. Because they give you permission to add them in the database, it means you have business for the future, which is another thing that most agents lose, the business for the future.
That is very, very, very enlightening. That a prospect has to be in your area of specialization.
Yes.
Has to have a budget.
Yes.
Can afford what they're asking for.
Yes.
And has to be a decision maker.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So if you lose any of these 3, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
So now once we've gotten this person, we've established, and I think a lot of agents, including myself, we spend a lot of time on people who are not in our areas of specialization.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to tell them you don't specialize in that area when they have a good budget. We put budget ahead of specialization.
Yes. Yes.
That's a lesson to learn there.
A story is told of one of the guys who made lots of money. I don't remember how much, but it's in the billions of commission. I raised estate agents, not in our country. But in that year, he was doing commercial. He sold 6 buildings. 6. But they were in one street.
Wow.
So he made a lot of money. And so, but the guy is focused. It's not just a coincidence. So there is value in focusing on your neighborhood. And that's the hardest thing to tell real estate agents.
So hard.
I have tried. Not many get it. It's so hard. Yeah.
But I like how Coral has done it. Because I think Coral, they major on these days they've expanded, but there was a time they were mainly General Mazenge parklands.
Yeah.
And then they have a sign on the whole street, on each gate.
Yes.
So that must also be very powerful branding-wise. That every next gate you go to, you see Coral on the whole street.
Yes.
That means that any landlord who thinks of selling on General Mazenge will automatically
think of them.
So they sold 6 buildings in one street.
Yep.
In a span of how long?
A year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we've qualified them, that they have the budget, they're in our area of specialization, and they're a decision maker, what do we do from there?
Usually that will happen in what you call, the initial calls. It's on phone, and probably you're talking to them on phone initially. Invite them to a meeting to consult with them, and in that meeting is when now you need to convert them, because
a physical meeting.
A physical meeting.
What's the importance of a physical meeting? A
physical meeting creates a connection. There is a lot of research that shows you have higher chances of converting a client that you have met in person.
Because of trust.
Yes, you know, I think I've talked to you here about 3-7-27 rule. 3-7-27 rule. 3 mentions that you're Wendy, 7 mentions that you're Wendy with your real estate company or whichever it is, and 27 to earn the trust. Now, physical meetings are one of the things that you need to do with these people. So there are some which you may not do physically, but if it's a prospect, someone who needs to be converted, then if they qualify to come, if they qualify from lead to prospect, invite them to a meeting.
That is separate from the viewing.
Yes. Because that's where now you consult with them and help them to get into a commitment, and then you move forward. Yeah. For myself, on the buyer side, on the tenant side, for those who have done that process with them, I've never gone past 4 properties before they found what they're looking for. Yes.
And what about that belief that you have to see many properties before you choose? How do you undo that in many clients who feel like, I've just not seen enough properties? How do you navigate that?
I've just thought of something as you're asking. I want to help people digest that. Let me say it differently than I usually tell it to the agents I'm consulting with. There's a reason why the client will see many properties.
Which is?
Probably there's something they're missing within the property. What else could it be? What's the other reason, by the way, Andy?
I always feel like some people feel like they need to make sure they've exhausted as many, especially the locals.
Yes.
So expatriates, they don't have time, they don't know the place, and they're very specific. So they may tell you General Madenge and how many apartments are on General Madenge, or they'll tell you Othaya Road. But the locals who've been here longer, let's say someone who's open to Lavington, Kilimani, Kileleshwa.
Yes.
Those 3 areas already creates that wide spectrum of, so she's okay with living in any of the 3, and so she wants to get the best deal and to feel like they've seen as many as possible before they make a decision, so that they don't feel like they've just chosen the first one.
Okay.
How do you navigate that?
So one of the things, one of the easiest way to go about it is, first of all, imagine they want the best choice. So you help them to describe what is your best choice. What is the best choice to you? The best choice to one person is different from another person. So you sit down with a criteria sheet and tick off the features, amenities, and conditions of those properties. FAC. Features, amenities, and conditions. Your criteria sheet will revolve around those things. So there may be very many things. They may say, my best is a jacuzzi. My best is a neighborhood that looks like this. You consult with them, follow through until you have explained what they are looking for better than they are saying it. If you do that, you'll come out as a consultant. If when you go to a doctor and tell them about a headache, and they query a few things, and then they tell you, actually, that is not a headache. It is because, the way you slept or something you ate that's affecting the way, they've explained it better than you think. Because at times we like to self-medicate. That's what Kenyans, eh?
Yeah,
self-medicating. But what if I went to a consultant who has spent years, is experienced in understanding what's going on in your body? If it's a house, and that could be a life investment, would you rather do some guesswork and self-medicate, or would you rather seek a consultant? If you have a heart problem, would you go to a cheap surgeon or to an expensive surgeon? Or a surgeon who knows, an expensive one who knows what they are doing. You don't want to risk your life with that. So in the same way, you need to, as agents, the challenge is we don't communicate that in the way we consult. We don't just tell them I'm professional. Communicate it. Take them through a process until they feel, I've never defined property nataka kabisa. Here they have defined it clearly. It's very clear. That's what we do in those meetings.
So lead conversion starts from how you start the process. It starts from the beginning.
Yes, lead conversion starts from the moment you ask them for a meeting, but it ends when they sign an agreement to work with you exclusively, preferably exclusively.
Is that how possible is that
Preferably.
in Kenyan market?
Oh, very
In your
much possible.
experience, it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
What does it take? Show us your ways. To have a client who's like, this is my agent. I have a few of those, by the way. But I would love to learn what it takes to have more. And I've managed to have that on the landlord's side.
Yeah.
But I would love to know what it takes to make the buyer side feel like I'll only deal with this one person.
Okay. Since I know you a bit more, I can try and address it directly
To me, yeah.
what you could do.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you do it, but let's say if you have a database of buyers, how many of them know the kind of transactions you're doing every quarter? Is there a systematic way of letting them know this is a business I've done? If there's that could mean sending them just rented, just sold cards, physical postcards, or because at times newsletters don't. I think open rate is about between 20 and 30%, depending how well you do them. So they may not see everything. You're not sure whether they've read, but a card, you are 100% sure they've read. They'll read.
Because they have to open it.
Yeah, even a WhatsApp message is better than newsletter.
Than a newsletter.
That guarantees you that yes, they've seen what I've sent. If you communicate that message, and the card could say, last quarter I did ABC. Would you recommend anyone to me that would need a property for sale along, let's say, Rafter Road? And they see that like, wow, you did all these transactions. Yes. See, now those are touches. You have to continuously do the touches, which is another way of keeping your database close to you.
So building credibility helps a lot.
Yeah.
To create that exclusivity.
Yeah.
Because they'd want to work with the best.
Yeah. Think of it not as bragging, it's information. We don't share information with our buyer. Yeah. So you may share something like, do you know the average price in this market per square foot is this much? And you, down there you say, I've done 5 or 6 transactions the last 3 months. Oh. So you see, you shared information. There's a way to share it.
Wow.
So that's how you build it. So by the time they are sending someone to you like, hey, this one, they have done some sales and they are giving you see, based on this information, they have done it. Go to them. Does it make sense?
It makes a lot of sense because if you're sure you have the best, mbona ushinde ukitafuta mwingine? Unajua? It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So
that if I'm sure you know this market, I'm sure you understand my needs. So no need to keep looking for others.
Yeah. That's the easiest, especially for someone who has a track record like you. If you don't have a track record, make sure you collaborate with other agents in your market to gather facts. So that's another way I do it. You have the facts, and if they needed proof, you can tell them, okay, go to that building and ask them about the price. So if it is, assuming it's a seller, and they'll go and ask about the price, and they realize, oh, these are the buildings with the features and maintenance condition that are comparable to mine, and if I price it above, this is my competitor, for example. So you convert them. At that point, they sign up with you. So you need to go with this information or research you have, or analysis. We call it comparative market analysis. If you're going to a seller, you need to have it. Even when you're sitting down with a buyer, you need to have that information. And that's the power of focusing on neighborhood. That information will be on your fingertips. So by the time you're sitting down with them and they're thinking, I want this house, duplex, with all these features, and they want it for less than 50,000 shillings if it's assuming it's a rental, that's when you tell them, look, I have data to help you to understand what are the market rates. I can tell you, these are good features, I understand, but if there are needs, these are needs, then you need to up your budget. Then you discuss, okay, so what are your wants, what are your needs, what are your unwanted? So you say, our goal is to focus on the needs. If we meet our needs, do you feel like we'll have done 8 out of 10 in terms of performance? Is 8 out of 10 acceptable? They tell you no. If I can go up to 8.5 by just meeting some wants. like then that will be good. So let's prioritize. You prioritize the needs, you prioritize the wants, and you advise them as a market expert about the budgets. So once they understand the budgets, then there's no need, you discuss and agree, is there a need to show you a property that's above your budget, make you wish for it, feel so good about it, yet you can't have it. Because I can guarantee there's no need, and you tell them, I do the same process with sellers and advise them based on this comparative market analysis. If you price the property above this price, buyers will have alternatives, or rent tenants have alternatives. They will not take your property. So price it correctly so that we don't miss it and don't leave money on the table. And that's what you do. Hii mambo ya kuprice slightly higher ndio kuja negotiate, you miss opportunities.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Then when you lower the price, people think that property has a problem. Or when it stays long in the market, like, hey, something is not okay with that property. And when they come, by the time they come to you and you stay long in the market, now they negotiate hard.
They have more negotiation power.
They have leverage over you.